things are definitely building up on Odd Taxi, and I'm looking forward to more of this series so far. I just got done watching episode 4 through 6 of Odd Taxi just to get completely caught up, and I'm absolutely loving it at this point. Episode 4 was oddly an episode that I thought was going to be a throwaway, and I think I mentioned that in the first impressions. I'm like, there's this episode 4, but I'm not sure if there's going to be anything in there really substantial because it's this backstory. But in actuality, it was technically what has been my hook for this series so far, is you have that aspect of all these stories that are interweaving, and technically with this backstory following this Tanaka guy is exactly that interweaving. Like the entire backstory of him was just this constant interweaving of these stories. You have the aspect of him going after this particular eraser that was actually the eraser that Shirakawa had that she gave to Odokawa. You have the aspect of him doing the gotcha thing with the dodo bird, and he was the guy that essentially Odokawa nearly ran over and he dropped his phone. That was something else. I forget exactly what it was, but there's all these little cool interweaving stories that you're now seeing those connections. Like, oh yeah, there's that eraser. Oh, there's that. He was the guy that was there. Oh, I know exactly where he's going to bury his bird. I know that spot. It's where Dobu left the gun. Like I said, that's that really cool interweaving stories that I absolutely love. I didn't think about it when I was doing my first impressions, but I think exactly what the same feeling it's given me here, without the crazy, supernatural stuff, is it reminds me a lot of Durarara. Durarara has, its inner city kind of thing. It has tons of characters, but all their stories are interweaving constantly, and that's exactly what Odd Taxi is doing, and I'm loving it to death so far. But like I said, Tanaka's backstory is fantastic, kind of getting that aspect of this hierarchy system within this school where you don't have a lot of like high academics or sportsmen area. It's often into collecting these erasers and trying to one up the next person, going after that big thing, the bidding war that he had with the eraser. And I'm like, oh no, please don't do that. $1,000 on a stinking eraser. But then again, it kind of translates to his desire to get in the social ladders when he gets into this gotcha game and, going up against the same guy that had this eraser, which I'm curious if they'll ever get into that Dunichi, whatever it was, Dunichi, or something like that. It's Dunich 1-1. But, yeah, I'm curious if they'll eventually explain who that person is, and I'm curious if that'll end up being something that'll tie in later. But, yeah, absolutely cool little backstory. Actually, it's funny because it was such an odd backstory that didn't really amount to much but just his misfortune. But it was just done so well, and I actually really did enjoy going through his kind of history of misfortune, even though it was very misfortunate. Going on from there, we get more into Odokawa getting trapped into this whole thing with Dobu and Shirakawa, obviously finding out that he knows that Shirakawa is working for Dobo, trying to sell the medicine from the doctor in order to pay off her debts. A little bit sad to see them kind of, I guess, technically break ways because he feels that she was just using him, when in actuality she was, but then eventually fell in love with him. Tapping a little more into the idols, having this manager that's working with the idols, obviously using one of the idols to apparently extort money out of Odokawa's friend, which I'm curious if that'll get... It's obviously something they're going to get into at the next episode, but it seems like he's going to obviously pulling a lot of money out of the bank or borrowing a lot of money in order to impress her is eventually going to catch up with him. And I'm curious if they knew that he didn't have money to begin with and they were just trying to push him into asking for money, or if it's going to be one of those things where they thought that he had a lot of money but he technically didn't. We'll see where that goes. Nishikawa's biggest fan won $1 billion. I cannot believe he has not turned that ticket in yet. That's frustrating. I'm like, okay, you haven't turned the ticket in. You're going to lose that thing. It's going to be some weird wrapped up story in one of these episodes that he's going to lose it. Somebody else is going to find it. They're going to lose it. It's going to probably be this big chase to find this ticket that has $1 billion yen on it, which is a lot of money. That's like 10 million, I think, in USD. A little bit less than that, actually, technically. But apparently Kabesawa is trying to go after Dobu. He's trying to go viral by saying that he's going after this guy, and that's going to probably not turn out well with him because Dobu's not a nice guy. At least we get the impression he's not, but it seems so far that he's kind of one of those guys that's he's a lot of bark, no bite. I would say. I think even Odokawa kind of mentions that. He just kind of feels that he's a lot of bark and not enough bite in the end. So I think that's all the main thing that's happened. A lot of focus was around Tanakawa and how he's, everything up to the point now, him going after Odokawa, shooting up this, or at least firing one shot at this in this one bar, trying to go after him. Obviously, that's going to be a threat to him going forward. Dobu's kind of told him that he's going to work with him because he wants to get his gun back. Plus, he can help Odokawa by stopping this guy from trying to kill him, basically. Shibakawa and Shibagaki and Baba are kind of growing on me now. I still think their comedy routines are terrible, but it looks like Baba is actually with Nikaido, which is surprising, and Shibagaki seems to be doing good things. He was trying to help out Tanakawa at some point, but they're kind of growing on me, even though, like I said, I still don't like their comedy routines in the end. But yeah, just an excellent series so far. Really enjoying the interweaving they're doing so far. Is exactly what I was getting into and exactly what I was looking forward to, and it's pulling it off. So yeah, loving this series so far. Now 6 episodes into it, but that's my impression so far on Odd Taxi. Looking forward to more. Definitely stay tuned. I'll be doing probably weekly impressions on this series as it goes on. But I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the series so far. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you all enjoyed. And you all take care.